right? So 2.1 says drawing of the graph, double intercept method. Okay, so A was y is equal to 2x plus 4. Right, let's get the x-intercept, which means that I'm going to make y equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 2x plus 4. Okay. 2x will then be equal to minus 4. So x is equal to minus 2. Okay. If I were to write that in coordinate form, x is minus 2 and y is 0. Hold on, I'm not done yet. You must go to Mrs. Malone. Mrs. Malone's class. The 83, you must go to Mrs. Malone's class. Okay, so if x is 0, then y will be 4. Now, remember yesterday I said you don't even have to make lots of numbers on your Cartesian plane. If x is minus 2 and y is 0, it would be round about here. And if x is 0, then y will be 4. So over there, which means that it's going to look like that. Maybe I should do it in a different color so you guys can see. Yes? It says drawing of the graph. Yeah. Okay. Right. Any questions here? Come on. Can I skip? Come, quick. Let's be here. Grade 9. Are you guys done? Quick. Yes. Can I? Okay, right. There you go. Grade 9. But it skipped because I want to go on with the next one already while you guys copy here. Right, so I first got x-intercept where I made y 0, and then I got x is equal to minus 3. Then to get the y-intercept, I made x 0, and that gave me y is minus 9. Always remember to double check. The gradient of this line was minus 3, right? So it should have a negative gradient. Okay. Any questions at B? Yeah. You had to draw. The question says drawing of the graph. So you would get 0 if you didn't do it. Yeah. People, we've got to read. You were taught how to read in grade 1. Come. Negative gradient, yes. Okay. Maar dan kan jy mos aansoek doen vir ekstra tyd, nie waar nie? And you can even ask someone to read for you. Like this. Jy kan? Right, can I skip? Yeah. Right, okay, so the next one, C. Grade 9. I can always just hand out and then tell you guys to do. I did ask. You guys make so much noise, I can't even hear. Julle twee, stop it.
Jackie Jonas, asseblief onmiddellik na mevrou van Wyk by die biblioteek. Jackie Jonas, biblioteek asseblief.
People, it's got nothing to do with you. So quiet. Right, hands up, we're still copying. Right, people tell me when you're done, please, because I'm waiting and then class is making a noise. Right. Have a look if you get the x-intercept. If you get the x-intercept, I make y 0. And that means that x will then be minus 1 over 10. Please keep it in fraction form. Okay? Then to get the y-intercept, we make x 0, which means that y will be 1. Keep it in fraction form. You can? You can? Yeah. But we prefer fractions. Okay, so it's going to be it's going to look something like that. So can you see, I didn't even have to go and measure or write down minus 1, minus 2, whatever. I just plotted the points, and you've got to say how much they are. Like y, where does it cut through the y-axis? At 1. Where does it cut through the x-axis? At minus 1 over 10. In proportion, yes. Okay. Right, any other questions here? Can I skip?
In the test, will they give us our procedure?
No, they'll give it to you. Okay, can I skip? I'm assuming that's a yes because no one's answering me. Okay, at D, we had y is equal to minus 5x plus 3. Okay, to get the x-intercept, I'm going to make y 0. So I'm going to have 0 is equal to minus 5x plus 3. So take the 5x over, so it becomes positive 5x is equal to 3. I've got to divide both sides by 5 now to get rid of that coefficient. So x will be 3 over 5. Right. To get the y-intercept, I'm going to make x 0. So I'm going to have y is equal to minus 5 times 0, which will still give me 0. and then plus 3. So y will be 3. Okay, if I were to draw that, your x and y axis, something like that. And it's going to cut my y-axis here near your... Hold on. X must be over here. Oh, so it's going to look like that. Like that, sorry. Okay, so x will be 3/5. And the y value will be 3. Okay. And it is still a negative gradient. Do you guys all see that? Yeah. Can I skip? Yeah. Yeah. It is a negative gradient, yeah? The gradient was -5. Put that away. It's math now. Yeah, man. Please put up your hand if you're still copying. Right? Are you done? Good. Okay, then 2.2. Okay, it says draw the line with equation y is equal to 6 minus 2x. Now, we said the equation of a straight line we always have in terms of y is equal to mx plus c. So all they did is these two, they swapped around. So let's just write it in the correct order. Y is equal to negative 2x plus 6. So can you see what was written in the beginning and the next line? It's exactly the same thing. No? Yeah. Okay, so get the x-intercept. I'm going to make y 0. So minus 2x plus 6. Take it over, so it would be 2x is equal to 6. Yeah, man. So x will be 3. Yes. And I'm going to talk about that just now because there is a shortcut, which you already noticed. Over here, I'm going to make x 0, so minus 2 times 0 plus 6, which means that y will be 6. So my coordinates, x is 0, y is 6. Okay, so if I were to draw this line, it is going to be like that. It cuts through the x-axis at 3 and it cuts through the y-axis at 6. Okay. Are you guys fine? Okay. Then at B they're asking, explain why the gradient of this line is minus 2. Yes. Yes. Okay. So we could read it off and see that the gradient, meaning the coefficient of x, is minus 2. No. But they basically want you to prove. How would I get there? Now, what I could do is use these two coordinates. Can I skip? Are you still copying? Okay. Yeah? The bell's going to ring just now. Yeah. Okay, right. At B, remember that gradient is difference in y over difference in x. Right, what are my two coordinates? No. What was the x-intercept? 3 and 0. 0 and 6. Okay, so can you see that I've got two coordinates? Okay, so I can then say gradient will be difference in y, so I'm looking at y values, 0 minus 6 over, at the bottom, difference in x, so 3 minus 0. So that's going to give me minus 6 over 3, which gives me minus 2. Okay, so if you weren't given the gradient, then that would have been how I would work it out. Okay, now there's one small thing. You guys have basically now been taught everything about straight lines. There's one small thing that I just quickly want to add. And then I'm going to give you the next worksheet. Yeah? It's just gradient. No. No, but are you thinking about grade 10 and onward? Ja, maar ek gaan nou niks van daai sê nie. Ja. Ja, dit is daar, maar ek gaan nie dit nou die appelkar omgooi nie. Okay, right. I can't hear people. Quiet. Yeah, pure math. I've got one math lit class, a grade 11 class, but next year I've only got pure math. Yeah. Okay, right. So you guys will remember that earlier on I said the equation of a straight line, or the general formula, is y is equal to mx, and then this last part, plus c. Now what did we say? That plus c was our y-intercept. No. Okay, now have a look. Okay, this was now done the other way around, but have a look. It cuts the y-axis at 6. And look, y is equal to mx and then plus 6. So can you see that plus 6 was actually gotten from there if you had the sketch and you had to give the equation. Do you guys see that? Okay, let's go back to another one. This one, it cuts through the y-axis at 3. And have a look, minus 5x plus 3. No, so far, because we had it the other way around, you wouldn't be able to. But now, let's say I give you yellow. I give you the following. And I'm saying it cuts here at minus 2 and it cuts there at 4. Yes, this is the first example. And I am asking you to determine the equation. Yes? No. Okay, determine the equation. Yeah. No. Okay. What? Okay, but how did you get the 2x? Yes, the antwoord was right, but how you got there was wrong. Okay, listen. We know that this is the y-intercept. No. So I'm going to say y is equal to mx, and then instead of plus c, I can say plus 4 because it was a positive 4. Do you guys agree with that? If it was a negative 4, then that would be minus 4. So it's literally whatever the number is there at your y-axis would be what we write at instead of c. Yes, yeah. C is the y-intercept. Okay. Yes, always. Okay, now, what else do I need here? I still got to get gradient. And how do we work out gradient again? The y over the x. Difference in y over difference in x. Now, people, you guys already know how to do the long method. No. So I'm just going to quickly do the long method, and then after that, I'll show you a shortcut. Not now. I'll go and break. Okay, so I need two coordinates. What would the coordinate there be? X is 0 and y is 4. And what would the coordinate here be? -2 and 0. You guys fine with that? Okay, so let's work out the gradient. So gradient is difference in y. So y values 4 minus 0 over 0 minus -2. That's a -2, nay? Which means that gradient will then be 4 over 2. So gradient is 2. Okay. So now I can say y is equal to, and instead of m, I can say 2x plus 4. So that is the equation of the straight line. So can you see when we've got to get the equation, I start with a y-intercept, and then we just go and work out gradient. Okay, now I'll show you the shortcut. The shortcut is difference in y over difference in x. You've got to make sure it forms a little triangle on your sketch. My triangle is going to be this one. Nay, have a look. Difference in y, what's that distance? 4. What's this distance? Have a look. -2. Nay? Okay, but don't think of -2 because you don't get a distance of minus. So 4 over 2, and have a look. You can. As long as you show me this, gradient is 4 over 2, then you still get your mark. Yeah. So after that, you still just got to show me this. So you basically skip that step of using coordinates. Okay, I use my little triangle to get that gradient will be, the difference in y is 4, the difference in x is 2. Now, the important part here is, okay, I've got to simplify and then end with gradient would be 2. But the important part is make sure whether it is a positive or a negative line. Okay, so if you were now to use -2, like some of you actually said you were going to, your answer here would have been a -2. And this is not a negative gradient. So if you want to use the shortcut, it's all good, but you've got to go back and check, is it a positive or a negative gradient, and make sure your signs are the same.
Yeah, but if you were to use a shortcut, you would have gotten the positive one.
If you? You would have had this, but you would have had -2 there. So see, then your answer would have been -2, and it's not a negative gradient. How would you get? Which question you know? Where? Worksheet 2. Yeah? Then you've got to use the longer method. Okay, so I'm just showing you the shortcut for if you can use it, then great stuff. Okay. I would prefer for most of you to use the longer method. Okay, can I ask you to quickly hand out? Okay, so people, worksheet 3 is going to be your homework. I just want to run through. At 1.1, it says determine the equation of the following lines. Remember, you always start with the y-intercept first, and then we go get the gradient. At 1.2, you're not going to plot. At 1.1, you've got to get the equation of those lines. Okay. Let me just wait until everyone's got a page. Yeah? Right, has everyone got a page? Thank you. Did you take one? Thank you. Oh, sorry, vergeet van ons. Al afviering. Okay, right. So, at number 1.1, it says determine the equations of the following lines. So, you are going to start with this. Remember, always the y-intercept first, and then we get the gradient. You've got to end off with giving me your full equation. You guys fine with that? Okay. Hold on, I want to finish first. 1.2, it says plot the points and draw the line. So plot the points means make those little dots and then connect them to form the line. Okay. B, determine the gradient of the line. That you can actually do without the picture because we just need 2 coordinates and I gave you 3. So you can choose any 2. Okay. At C, what is the intercept of the line? Please give me the y-intercept there. So just add what is the y-intercept of the line. Okay, then D, write down the equation of the line. Same thing. Because you've got the y-intercept, we just now have to work out gradient. You actually did work out gradient at B, right? Okay, 1.3, basically the same. Okay, it's just different coordinates. Okay, any questions? Okay, so homework. Worksheet 3. Good. I'll read announcements now.